We're talking about a giant, an absolute empire. For decades, Sean Diddy Combs has dominated the world of hip-hop. He's been a collaborator, a business rival, and a very public figure. But under the billion-dollar fortune, a really complex story has been brewing. Now, with Diddy on trial, facing a storm of shocking federal charges like racketeering and sex trafficking, the carefully built image of his world is starting to crack. What secrets have been hidden in his history all this time? And could the fallout from Diddy's legal battles swallow up more than just his own empire, potentially implicating those in his orbit? Picture this. September 2024. Federal agents raid Diddy's lavish mansions. The charges? They're mind-blowing. A criminal enterprise supposedly built on coercion, abuse, and trafficking. He gets arrested, bail is denied, and now, in June 2025, his trial is in full swing, with some devastating testimonies coming out. This isn't just your typical celebrity scandal. This is a potential day of reckoning for Diddy. And the aftershocks? They're threatening to bring down everything he has built. To really get what's happening now with Diddy, we need to go back. Way back to the early 1990s. New York City. Diddy, who was Puff Daddy back then, with Bad Boy Entertainment, was one of the main architects of hip-hop's cultural boom. He wasn't just making music, he was building a dynasty. His path often crossed with other rising stars, including Jay-Z. Diddy featured Jay-Z on Young G's and cultivated an image of camaraderie with industry peers. Publicly, he seemed like the best of friends with many, projecting an image of unity. He and Jay-Z were often photographed together, like two kings. In 2005, Diddy, alongside Jay-Z, made a very public show of solidarity by donating $1 million to Hurricane Katrina relief. Behind the scenes, navigating early legal troubles in the late 90s reportedly forged some of his connections. Diddy, in later years, would refer to powerful allies as brothers and strategists. He showed up at big-time events, from the Bad Boy reunion tour in 2016 to a Black billionaire brunch in 2020, always projecting this image of massive success and a tight-knit circle of elites. While Diddy was building Bad Boy, Sean Jay-Z Carter was architecting his own empire with Rockefeller Records. Jay-Z wasn't just an artist, he was a sharp businessman, an empire builder in his own right. Forbes lists often had him and Diddy neck and neck, tracking their ever-growing net worths. Back in 2012, Diddy was estimated at $550 million, Jay-Z at $460 million, and those numbers just kept climbing. This constant comparison naturally fed rumors of a quiet, and sometimes not so quiet, rivalry between the two moguls. Jay-Z also navigated the burgeoning hip-hop scene, collaborating with key figures, including bringing Diddy onto his track, I Know What Girls Like, showcasing a public image of mutual respect. However, they were undeniably fighting for the same spotlight, the same market share, the same awards. Each one was a brand, a symbol of hip-hop success. The same drive that got Jay-Z to the top could also, naturally, make him a rival to others operating in the same space. Were those smiles always real, or were they smart moves by masters playing a very public game of chess? The whole feud narrative wasn't always out in the open with Jay-Z, but the competitive currents flowing underneath as he built his dynasty were undeniable. Each man's success, while celebrated, also set a new standard for the other. Alright, let's fast forward to 2024 regarding Diddy. Those whispers and rumors that used to follow him, they turned into a roaring avalanche of federal indictments, racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution. These aren't just vague claims, these are charges that paint a disturbing picture of a criminal enterprise allegedly running under the cover of Diddy's music empire. Federal agents raided his homes in Los Angeles and Miami. He was arrested in September 2024 and has been repeatedly denied bail. As his trial kicked off in May 2025, the details coming out of the courtroom have been, frankly, horrifying. His former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, who had previously settled a civil suit claiming years of abuse, trafficking, and rape, gave some harrowing testimony. Even though Diddy quickly settled her civil case, admitting no guilt, the graphic nature of her allegations, and then that 2016 hotel video that allegedly showed him assaulting Cassie, that all laid the groundwork for these criminal charges. Other accusers, identified as Jane Does in court, have shared similar stories of coercion, control, and forced sexual encounters, sometimes involving male sex workers in what were reportedly called freak-offs. The prosecution says Diddy used his power, his fame, and a network of associates to abuse and silence victims for years. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all criminal charges, and his lawyers are trying to frame this as consensual adult relationships, twisted by accusers who are just after money. The sheer number of allegations and how serious the charges are against Diddy, it's a lot to take in. As this trial keeps going, what do you think this all means for the legacy of Bad Boy Records and Diddy himself? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're finding this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into stories just like this one. Then, in late 2024, the scandal surrounding Diddy reached Jay-Z's doorstep. He was named alongside Diddy in a civil lawsuit by a woman, Jane Doe, who alleged she was raped by both men at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party back in 2000 when she was just 13. Jay-Z's response was instant and strong. He called the allegations a blackmail attempt and idiotic, swearing he wouldn't pay one red penny. He even filed his own lawsuit against the accuser's lawyer, Tony Busby, for extortion and defamation, suggesting it was all a plot to ruin his reputation. That civil lawsuit against Jay-Z was voluntarily dismissed by the accuser in February 2025. Jay-Z's team called it a win against frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations. In his statement, Jay-Z talked about the trauma his family went through because of the claims. Despite this dismissal, just being linked, however briefly and contested, put Jay-Z under intense public scrutiny, especially given his long, if complicated, association with Diddy. With Diddy's trial still happening and new details coming out every day, the untold truth about him is taking center stage. It's about looking at everything related to Diddy again, but this time through the lens of these horrific allegations. Were there signs that were missed? Were whispers about his conduct just ignored? Those jokes Diddy made about a secret society of hip-hop elites suddenly sound a lot more ominous now that he's accused of running a criminal enterprise. Diddy's alleged actions, as detailed in court, point to a pattern of power abuse that, if it's proven, would be a grotesque betrayal of the artists and people who trusted him. Prosecutors are alleging a conspiracy involving Diddy's associates and employees, who supposedly used the huge Bad Boy empire to coerce and abuse victims. Witnesses have testified about Diddy's controlling behavior, his alleged use of drugs to make assaults easier, and how he psychologically manipulated his victims. Meanwhile, his defense keeps arguing these were consensual encounters, and that the accusers are just looking for a payday. The trial has already seen jurors dismissed, and the judge warning Diddy about how he's behaving in court. Every day brings new testimony, new texts, new glimpses into the world Diddy allegedly created. That phrase, shatter their empires? For Diddy, his empire is already crumbling. No matter what the trial's verdict is, his reputation is in shreds. The allegations alone have caused damage that can't be undone. If he's convicted, he's looking at potentially decades in prison. His businesses, his endorsements, his place in culture, all of it is likely to be gone. The carefully constructed world of Diddy, the music mogul, is facing an undeniable and potentially irreversible collapse. The weight of the accusations and the ongoing trial seem to be systematically dismantling the legacy he spent decades building. For Jay-Z, things are a bit different. He was quickly cleared of those civil claims that briefly entangled him with the Diddy scandal. His empire, Roc Nation, is still a major force. His legacy, built on lyrical genius and business savvy, remains strong. However, the shadow of his past association with Diddy, especially during the time Diddy's alleged crimes were happening, will probably stick around. People will keep asking questions, keep looking closely at their past interactions. While there's absolutely no sign Jay-Z was involved in Diddy's alleged criminal activities, the whole scandal highlights the often uncomfortable connections in the entertainment world. Reports suggest Jay-Z has been making a clear effort to distance himself and his brand from all the toxicity around Diddy. His focus has been on aggressively clearing his own name and protecting the empire he worked so hard to build, ensuring his own legacy remains untarnished. The Diddy trial is a long way from being over, and we'll be feeling the effects for years. It's forcing everyone to rethink an entire era of music and culture defined by figures like Diddy and Jay-Z. What started as a story of two ambitious young guys from New York who took on the world has taken a really dark and disturbing turn for one of them. A turn that could redefine legacies and force some uncomfortable truths to the surface within an industry they helped build. The saga of Diddy and its brief intersection with Jay-Z's world is a stark reminder that the truth, especially the kind that's been kept quiet, has a habit of coming out eventually, often with devastating results for those involved. What are your biggest takeaways from this whole ongoing situation concerning Diddy and Jay-Z's navigation of the periphery? Do you think this will actually lead to bigger changes in the music industry? Share your thoughts in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our future updates and analyses on the stories that shape our culture. Thanks for watching.